So shout out to Mutrin, Saputra, Editor, Rusalis, and Nico Diego. Those 5 people are going to get a pink badge pretty soon. The order has been sent, the order has been received, but they don't appear yet. The team is very busy, okay? They're not putting my requests at the top of the list today. Okay, so congratulations to those 5 users. If you want to know how they got a pink badge, it's kind of hard to describe, but all 5 of those users have uploaded videos of themselves for activities or just as content. Hey guys, why do I get so nervous right before I come on camera? It's not like a live stream. I can just do it over. So dumb. I've got, let me do some shout outs first. I'm gonna do some shout outs and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about applications. I've got a new one to preview for you. And I'll talk about notifications and then I'll just go over and look at the Ask Me Anything activity that's going on featuring me and everybody who's asked me a question. So shout out to Mutrin, Saputra, Editor, Rusalis, and Nico Diego. Those 5 people are going to get a pink badge pretty soon. The order has been sent, the order has been received, but they don't appear yet. The team is very busy, okay? They're not putting my requests at the top of the list today. Okay, so congratulations to those 5 users. If you want to know how they got a pink badge, it's kind of hard to describe, but all 5 of those users have uploaded videos of themselves for activities or just as content. Or they're producing activities and a good amount of content. So that's one of the criteria for us to assign pink badges at the moment. We are thinking about changing that so it's more crowdsourced and the community decides who gets the pink badges. But for the moment, those are the types of things that we look at. Okay. Now on my screen, I have. I clicked on application on the left. You can see that's where I am. And there are 3 applications so far. We've got the tangled wheel spin, which all of you have seen in action. We've got the video game Radius by Cobra Helix, which a lot of you have played. And we've got Swapland, where you can buy Millix or wrapped Millix with a debit card, a credit card, or PayPal. Okay, so that's all. These applications, they run inside of tangled.com, so you don't have to leave to do these activities or these functions. Okay. Now we are working to add a lot more applications, and I'll show you the list of those in just a second. But ultimately, we're going to open this up so that any one of you can create an application as a developer and host it, list it in this application marketplace, and get paid. You know, people pay to use the applications. They'd be paying you. Okay, and we're doing these initial applications ourselves just to make sure that we make everything safe, that we learn all the little hiccups and tricks. That we know all the hooks that have to be built between the system and the applications that we would provide to developers. So this is what we have launched so far, and this is what's going to launch next. So this is an image editor that is an application, and I will drag a picture in there. It charges me 20,000 Milix to use the image editor, so I'm going to send that to the app. Okay, here's an image to edit. It's an image of Dr. Erickson, PhD, who has a specialty in math. He didn't, he bought this shirt and he didn't notice anything unusual about it. So there's all these features you can adjust, you can fine tune, you can add a filter, you can add a watermark, you can draw on it, you can resize it, right? So it just lets you do normal basic image editing, which then you can save and use for a post in on Tangle.com or anywhere else you want, right? So it's just a convenience. It allows you to do basic editing for an image without having to leave Tangle.com. Now, eventually, if an application like this becomes popular, we will continue to work on it and allow it to create the post for you, or at least add the image to the post for you. That type of thing, that's kind of the last 20% of an application like this, but it requires 80% of the work. So we'll see how this one goes, and then we'll improve it like the rest based on how you guys use it. Okay, so let me show you this. I don't know how well you're going to see this. This is a list of the application ideas that we are working off of and deciding to which ones to do first based on effort and kind of overall priority. So we've got Radius is already launched, Snake, which is another video game, which will probably launch soon because it's a high priority. We've got an app for buying Milix, for selling Milix with Tether, and converting from Milix to Wrap Milix to the ERC20 network. We've got another video game. We've got a Luna AI image generator. Then we've got lots of sites like Tangle Trivia, Wavell, Fiat Leak, Splot, Bitcoin Wallet's on here, Milix.com's on here, P2B, B2B is on here. So we can bring a site in to an application and you can just use the site within the application. Music player, radio, video clip generator, lots of things, okay? So these, hopefully you're looking forward to some of these. I think that some of these are going to be real popular, and I think that all of them are going to make Tangle.com a more interesting place to spend time. And as you're thinking about the apps that we have, the apps that you see that we're going to do, keep in mind what type of app you might want to do and build for yourself to earn Milix as a developer on Tangle.com. Okay? Those are apps. Now, for the last few days, I have been answering any question. Ask me anything, I answer everything. 109 comments. Of course, this is hosted by our good friend Tantelli. And I am not the first person to be featured on Ask Me Anything. I think there's probably been 3 or 4 before me, and you can see those by clicking or searching #AMA. So let's see who has been helping out with this. Metal Pack, Nerone, Shafiula. That was look at this. This is a long conversation. Vandermuller, Octo. This is a long conversation about cars. You want to know about my cars? That's where you look. Cashflow, Muhammad Arif Mahar. You know this. So he's asking. There's been a few people that have asked what the value of Milix is going to be, and my answer is always the same. I'm happy to describe how I think values like that are determined, how they're formed by the marketplace, what I think the drivers are that we're working on, that you can work on, that everyone can work on because Milix is open source. but I don't know what the value is going to be. I don't decide what the volume that's traded is. It's a free market. So I mentioned in here, maybe to Tantelli, I mentioned that I don't have any more control over Milix than any one of you do, because it's open source and traded on the free markets. Favorite food from, who is that? M. Majid 786 Abro. Saputra, he asked me what I was thinking about before Tangled, and I gave a pretty long answer for that. Saputra's getting a pink badge. Geo MC57 asked me a question that I confess that I am not good at. Joseph Doyle, same thing. Rajni, that was a hard question too. Rusalisi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but she is getting a pink badge. Okay, there's Tantelli asking about childhood. Sajad Shah, who's my favorite user on Tangled? I sometimes in my videos I say this is my favorite user at the moment. This is going to be kind of like a permanent record. So so I tried to be as descriptive and not explicit as I could. But I did shout out some people who had made content or posts that affected me. Okay, I could make a list. I do have favorite users. Okay. Hattie Hats asked a lot about kind of what led us here. Nantenain Ara Koton Dron Evo wanted to know about the names. How did I come up with the names Tangled and Milix? And that's a good, I like that question. And there is an art form to that, and I described that in my answer. He said it was inspiring. And then here comes Tantelli and says, I don't know if you know this, but people that don't speak English pronounce Tangled tongue-laid. You know, what am I supposed to do about that? I don't know. As I said, you can't win them all. HMJO, Fenna, Adrian, Narovansoa, Aurelien, Tariq Meda, Bora Ergol. He's frustrated. Bora Ergol's frustrated because he asked me, he asked specifically, precisely, how rich are you? What? I don't even know. Do you know? And by the way, this sparked a conversation, and I said I was going to make a video about this, but I'll try to mention it right now. I said, first of all, here's his question. What's your total value of assets and cash holdings, and where do you get your income from? Does he work for the government? Is he working undercover? I said more than I thought that I'd have, but less than I need to finish the mission. That's how much I have. So, in other words, no matter how much I have, all of it is spoken for, all of it is allocated, and I don't spend very much. I don't spend as much as I could because I have these goals and objectives, and I need the money to accomplish them. So, you know, when somebody says, "Hey, can you invest in whatever?" I'm like, "No." All the money's allocated. And then as far as where do I get my income, I don't think that, so the important part of that isn't where I get it. The important part is that I lose more than I make. So I said I've lost money for the past 6 years paying for development of Milix and Tangled. That's been very expensive. And then I say I focus on the balance sheet more than on the P&L, and maybe I'll make a video about that for the 3 people who might be interested in watching. Okay, so then Tantelli asked me about that, and then he asked me some more. So here's what I mean by that. So a balance sheet and a P&L, or a profit and loss, those are the 2 reports that tell you finances for a person or a company. And you can think of the balance sheet as your bank account and the P&L as your paycheck, okay? And I say that I focus more on the balance sheet, the assets, than the P&L, the earnings. And you can think of it like, it's like thinking about, everyone knows, or a lot of people know, and a lot of people have interest in who's the richest person on earth. Okay? The richest person on earth, that's a balance sheet definition. The highest paid person on earth, that's a P&L conversation. Okay? So you've got the richest person versus the person who earns the most. Now, if you think about those two things, you can have a person who worked all their life cleaning the streets for very little money, and they have more in the bank than an athlete who's getting paid $20 million a year. Okay? So it doesn't matter how much you earn, it matters how much you keep. And a balance sheet shows you what's already happened. It's in the bank. A P&L shows you what's happening right now. Right? The other thing about the distinction between those two things is you do not pay, at least in the United States, you don't pay taxes on what's in your bank account. You pay taxes on what's on your paycheck, okay? So the richer you get, the more you start to think about taxes, the less you want to pay. And to pay less taxes, you focus on what you have instead of what you earn. Because when you have a good amount of assets, and they're high quality assets, you can pledge those assets as collateral and get a loan, so you can get money to live, and you're not paying taxes. And in fact, you're paying interest on that loan, and that's lowering your taxes. So there you go. Those are some of the reasons why I focus on a balance sheet or my assets more than a P&L or my earnings. Okay? Now there's nobody left watching this video. Susan Givens. How do I make friends and influence people? Well, the first thing I said is that I dislike and refuse to influence people. I don't like doing that. But then I give a pretty long answer about, this is a sensitive subject because it's psychology, and you don't want to play tricks to make friends or to communicate with people. But I do list a lot of methods that I've been taught or that I'm just naturally able to do. Okay. Adi Tola Johnson Sagan. How do I generate income to pay millions of tanglers? Here we go again with the earnings and the income. The answer was simple. My expectation is that the tanglers, you guys, pay each other. Right? Some people earn, and the earnings are larger in the beginning than as time goes by, so that there's millix in the economy. But when there's millix in the economy, it's going back and forth between users and not necessarily from the platform or from me. So I don't tip as much as I used to. We're always adjusting how much the platform pays. And so I don't generate income to pay millions of tanglers. By the way, there are, as of this morning, there are 60,800 users on Tangle.com. Not millions. 60,000. Okay? We're growing. Just not that fast. How did I assemble the team? And how long did it take? I told the story of that. Crypto Guide had a technical question, and Legier said, when am I going to sing a song to thank my subscribers? I've done that twice. And I don't think it would be considered a thank you. It could be considered punishment, but I did do it twice, and I added a link to one of those times. All right? So that'll be the video today, and we will get back to fixing what's broken and building what we think will make everyone's life better. I'll talk to you later.